Yeah, let's talk about the scary part. There's some liability involved here if you get this wrong or you fail to file.
That's right. So I want to talk about sort of two categories of liability. There's the one that's just in the statute, right? And this breaks down into two categories itself. The first is the civil penalties, the second is the criminal penalties. So there is some confusion over the civil penalties. I see this a lot when I'm looking at advice that lawyers or CPAs or just other third parties are putting out there. What's the per day fine and who does it apply to? Well, when the statute was passed, it said $500. But earlier this year, the inflation adjusted it to $591. So it's $591 per day per individual, not per company, per individual. And so when we're looking at that, we're looking primarily at the C-suite officers, and their governance documents may adjust to handle how they're going to deal with this fine. But you could conceivably have 591 times 5 C-suite officers. And if there's a willfully non-compliant owner with an ownership interest, let's say I own 25% of the company, I refuse to give the company my details for filing, then I'm also subject to $591 per day. So that you have to calculate that as more than just a 1 day 500 or 591 per day. You have to look at the people who'd be subject to the fine and multiply that total times the 591. Now, where the controversy comes into here is there a cap on the potential fine? If you read the statute, as I read the statute, it says no, it's 591 until cured, until fixed. Other people have taken the position that it's 591 with a max of 10,000. I don't think it really matters as far as severity, right? Because if you have 6 people subject to a max fine of $10,000, that's a $60,000 fine for, say, failure to file. And if you fail to update, that could conceivably be another $60,000 fine if you let it run long enough, or if you fail to correct, right? So this can compound. So that's the civil penalty. You can pick your side as to whether there is an upper limit cap or whether that can get up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't have an example of enforcement yet. But then let's look at the criminal. The way I read the statute, the criminal consequences are a $10,000 fine and 2 years in prison. So that takes care of step one. What does FinCEN do on the enforcement side? The civil fine plus the criminal. But it's clear, as I referenced earlier, that they expect other law enforcement agencies to use this database. So it may be that your failure to report or your incorrectly reported information is accessed for evaluating whether taxes were properly paid on the entities. And so you may face the IRS fines or whatever other, the Franchise Tax Board in California for the state, other fines from that. So there are the direct fines stated in the statute, and then there are the indirect consequences that you may face for failure to file.